So our last question, we saved the best to last. No. Do you support expanding the qualification for medically assistance in dying beyond the current reasonably foreseeable prescription?
That is actually a question near and dear to my heart. I do believe that it should be expanded. I think the current law didn't go far enough in allowing people to set advance directives. I've read a lot about this issue, and I really feel that it falls short, the current legislation. We need to let people who are in a situation where they know that they're going to be facing an end of life and perhaps not able to set that directive at that time based on the rules in place, to make that decision with their family ahead of time and with their doctor, instead of having a draconian system of only allowed to make that decision at the time when they're no longer able to. So we do support advanced directives for medical assistance in dying, and I've received a lot of letters from members of the community about it, more than any other issue, as a matter of fact. So I think it's something that's really important to people in Burlington, and we need to address it.
Thank you. So our last and final question, Lenaee. Do you support expanding the qualification for medically assistance in dying beyond the current reasonably foreseeable prescription?
So I've been in a situation where my father had a massive stroke, and at the time there was a lot of conversation around whether we keep him on life support or not. And my feeling was to let him die on his own, but to not assist with it. So that's my personal opinion, and I think that depending on the needs, the structure, the situation, I think it's very family oriented, and I think individuals should have that choice if they decide that they should have that choice.
Thank you. And last but not least, our fifth question. Do you support expanding the qualification for medically assistance in dying beyond the current reasonably foreseeable prescription?
Yes, I do. Look, I have to say that medical assistance in dying was the most difficult vote I ever took. Not only because for the first time it was legislating death in Canada, but what I saw put forward by the previous Attorney General and Minister of Health was not what I thought we promised. But I also recognized that we needed to start somewhere. And so I advocated very hard internally within our party to make sure that we were committed to doing a review on advanced directives, on patients with mental health issues, and on youth who might like to seek a medical assistance in dying. And I also recognize that things change. This is probably one of the most difficult issues that we face, because I think a lot of people, when they think about medical assistance in dying, you know, maybe they've been with a loved one who's gone through palliative care. I know personally I have. And while in so many ways we have amazing supports, you kind of think it's going to be different, right? And so this is something that I'm personally very committed to. I've heard to so many people throughout the community, and we need to figure out how to get it right, because things change and you want to make sure you're always respecting the patient's wishes. We have to take into account doctors and nurses and medical professionals who are part of this decision. But I do think that we have a commitment to Canadians to uphold, to make sure that we continue to explore this and understand how we can bring in medical assistance in dying in the way that Canadians expect us to.
Okay, thank you.